Thank you very much, guys, for coming down for another episode of the Powerful PK Show. Today, we are going to speak about, the nitty-gritties of coffee roasting and the developing cafe culture. Today, here we have one of the finest roaster in the Delhi NCR region, one and only Tanmay Seth from Blue Clan Coffee. So welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for first of all for taking out time for us during your busy roasting schedule. और आपने जो हमारे लिए टाइम निकाला है इतने डॉग बेसिस पे दैट इज आई मीन वी आर वेरी ग्रेटफुल टू यू.
It means a lot you have called me for the podcast. I saw the first part. It was amazing. Very insightful.
रियली.
Yeah.
अरे वो तो खैर जनता बताएगी कि क्या है क्या नहीं है ना.
I shared that with the people whom I work with, and everybody found it to be very useful.
ओके वंडरफुल गुड टू नो यार गुड टू नो थैंक यू सो मच आई मीन डेफिनेटली जो लोग देख भी रहे हैं वो भी अगर इफ दे फाइंड इट लिटिल इंटरेस्टिंग इफ दे थिंक दैट लॉट ऑफ पीपल एक्चुअली आर लुकिंग आई मीन दे आर लिसनिंग टू पॉडकास्ट. आजकल थोड़ा सा मतलब पॉडकास्ट की इंडस्ट्री में यही है कुछ भी डाल दो मतलब कि आई थिंक इट्स मोर और लेस लाइक जादू टोना और क्या बोलते से वशीकरण and your all these mystic things they want to talk about. They want to talk about astrology,
Right.
which is like which is a hot topic these days. पहले भी होता था बट अगेन अभी आज की डेट में हर कोई एस्ट्रोलॉजर बन गया है न्यूमरोलॉजिस्ट है. आई थिंक व्हाट वी ट्राई टू डू हियर इज दैट वी ट्राई टू पुट सम सेंस इनटू व्हाट वी डू. बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो कि इस इंडस्ट्री से जुड़े हुए हैं तो उनके लिए कुछ अगर कुछ मिल जाए अगर इफ दे कैन गेट समथिंग ओनली 5% ऑफ आवर कंटेंट इज समथिंग व्हाट यूजफुल टू देम. This is what we're trying to do here.
It's a great initiative. Also, I believe with the coffee culture growing this much, there are a lot of new people who are coming into the industry. And if something like this pops up on the YouTube or elsewhere, they would find it very useful.
पहला टॉपिक सर why you are a roaster? क्यों आप मतलब ये जो हम बात कर रहे हैं I've introduced you. You are one of the. I mean, people who know you, they know that they've been using your coffee. They love it. They adore it. They savor it every day. There are cafes. I know what you're doing. What kind of a job you're doing in the market these days. और जो changes आए हैं वो सब चीज़ों के साथ में आपने पूरा cooperate करा हुआ है. तो क्यों मतलब ये क्यों करा आपने? I mean, tell me something about what make you start all this thing. What made you start these things?
So basically, this goes back pre-COVID. So pre-COVID, I had the thought of opening up a cafe, but then we were looking out for spaces, and then COVID happened. So luckily, हमें कुछ मिला नहीं था तब तक. So rental से bound नहीं हुए थे हम, and we had decent amount of capital to like try something at home. So 2019 is when I completed my MBA.
Oh.
And 2020 starting was the period where I was looking for shops for like rented spaces wherein I can open a cafe. But then COVID happened, and uske baad what we did was we were trying different coffees at home during the COVID period. And at that time nobody was in the market doing great coffees. If you go to any Starbucks, CCD, all you get for black coffee was Americano or espresso. There was no pour over, there was no French press. Only like maybe 5-10 cafes in Delhi would be doing these sort of coffees, including Blutokai. So that was a point where we thought we'll open something of that sort, wherein we'll keep manual brews and other stuff, but people can savor. क्योंकि अभी ब्लैक कॉफ़ी की परसेप्शन उस वक्त सबकी यही थी कि कड़वी होगी.
बिल्कुल.
So
और हम लोग तो होटेलियर्स थे एक्चुअली. हम तो ब्लैक कॉफ़ी इसीलिए पीते थे जिससे कि हम लोग वी कुड वर्क.
right.
बेसिकली हमारे लिए तो वही था कि जब हम लोग when we were working in our early days and we always used to take the black coffee or maybe an espresso shot to work through the night. नींद ना आए.
हाँ, तो वही होता है कॉफ़ी के साथ कंसेप्शन कि भाई अगर आप पी रहे हो तो इट विल बूस्ट एनर्जी इन यू. एनर्जी ड्रिंक की तरह लोग कंज्यूम कर रहे थे, बस सेवर कोई नहीं कर रहा था कॉफ़ी.
बिल्कुल.
सो तब हमने घर पे जब ट्रायल शुरू करे कॉफ़ी के अलग अलग रोस्टर से मंगवा के, तो मुझे लगा मार्केट तो काफ़ी बढ़िया है इसकी, एंड कॉफ़ी जितना हम जानते हो वो तो कुछ भी नहीं है. सो दैट्स व्हेन वी स्टार्टेड रोस्टिंग कॉफ़ी. वी गॉट अ स्मॉल रोस्टर फ्रॉम साउथ कोरिया.
Okay.
That was called Kaldi. It was a stove top roaster.
Okay.
आप गैस पे रखते हो. There is
अच्छा.
just drum and a motor attached to it जो सिर्फ घूम रही है. तो
वाओ.
मैंने बहुत हाथ जलाए हैं. मैंने उस पर 8-10 महीने कॉफ़ी रोस्ट करी है.
ओके.
And during that time, there was a brand called Beandeck. We started selling coffee roasted on the stovetop roaster.
ओ वाओ.
200 250 gram ke pouches. We started selling on the website, and we had like decent feedback for the coffee. So that's when we started. Let's do this full time.
एंड यू वर डूइंग इट व्हेन यू स्टार्टेड द कैफे, मतलब कैफे स्टार्ट करा आपने उसके साथ में ही आपने शुरू कर दिया?
नहीं, कैफे स्टार्ट नहीं हो पाया.
अच्छा,
लकीली
स्टार्ट ही नहीं हो पाया वो.
कैफे स्टार्ट
तो मतलब जो करना था वो नहीं हो
वो
पाया.
नहीं हो पाया. सो
ओके.
वी थॉट कि कुछ करना है कोविड के अंदर खाली बैठने से अच्छा.
अच्छा.
सो वी स्टार्टेड रोस्टिंग कॉफी.
ओके.
बिकॉज ब्रू कितनी कर लेते कॉफी घर पे.
अपने आप तो कितने ही पी सकता है आदमी.
राइट.
तो मतलब ये एक्सीडेंटल था.
Accidental.
टोटली
Totally
एक्सीडेंटल.
Yes.
Oh wow. Look at this, guys. I mean, where are you today? I mean, it happened all accidentally. Good to know, yaar. I mean, it's really inspiring for people. I think the way you said it, कि आपने बहुत small से, मतलब लोग इंतज़ार ही करते रह जाते हैं कि कब
Right.
वो पहले कैफ़े करेंगे, उसके बाद में रोस्टिंग करेंगे, जी हम किसी और से रोस्टिंग कराएंगे या कुछ और करेंगे. You started on your own. That is really commendable and it's really nice to hear.
Back then, there was no support of roasting as such, but now there is a lot. Like पहले इंडिया में कोई कोर्स नहीं कराता था रोस्टिंग का. अब काफ़ी कोर्सेज होते हैं रोस्टिंग के भी. And there is a lot of information in the market available now. पहले तो कुछ भी नहीं मिलता था इंडिया के अंदर. कॉफ़ी इक्विपमेंट्स नहीं थे प्रॉपरली Amazon पे. Then now you get everything.
Now it is accessible basically.
it's
अभी तो खैर हम लोग
accessible.
काफ़ी ज़्यादा एडवांस स्टेज में हैं. I think everybody wants to be a specialty
Correct.
cafe, and they want to do good coffee. Not great, but good.
Good coffee.
Definitely. तो कैसी रही आपकी जर्नी फिर उसके बाद में, when you started off this thing, you know, what happened? कहाँ से क्या?
So we started very slow. धीरे धीरे grow किया. Then we got a Fuji Royal roaster from Japan.
Okay, so
This
that
was
was a
during-
real roaster basically.
That was basically a real roaster, a small version of Prabhat.
Okay.
So we stayed roasting on that for another 2 years. Then I bought a Alio bullet. Then I bought another Alio bullet.
Oh wow.
Now I've got a bigger 6 kg machine.
Oh wonderful.
So you're growing steadily. Started from a 200 gram roaster, now on a 6 kg machine.
Just interestingly, you know, what intrigued me is that what you used to do, like what kind of quantity you could pull out on Allo Bullet?
On Alio bullet, what the recommended?
हम recommended नहीं बात कर रहे हैं. Recommended तो पता है सभी को, लेकिन आप कितना कर रहे थे उससे?
हम दो रोस्टर की मिला के around 600-700 kgs a month.
Wow, that's crazy.
So you're roasting approximately 12 to 13 hours a day.
Oh.
So I had like 2 guys who were working with me. They were operating the roaster for 9 hours. Then another 5-6 hours I was operating both the roasters. So it was hectic.
Oh, how active for you or active for machines?
Both.
both. बढ़िया बढ़िया. कैसा रहा उससे, मतलब you know, from your usual roaster coming on to, how was the transition like? LA Bullet पे जब आप आए?
So this is something that I have told a lot of people कि I started with a very bad car. होता है ना ड्राइविंग के अंदर, अगर आप एकदम ही पुरानी 30 साल 40 साल पुरानी गाड़ी पे चलाओगे तो आप कोई सी भी गाड़ी चला सकते हो. So it was like that. I started on a stovetop roaster, moved to a better Fuji Royal, moved to an electric roaster which was Alio Bullet, everything was controllable. Now moved to a bigger machine. So the work has been like more smoother with every stage.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. And now what is your experience? अब कैसा लग रहा है आपको when you're roasting on a proper roaster? I mean, not now, of course, you know, you've been roasting for a while now.
Right.
But again, you know, what is the experience like, you know, coming from there, like from Alio, then, you know, what is next, like, you know?
Next thing is I'm planning to purchase a bigger machine. Hopefully by next year. We'll get a bigger roaster and that's it.
और अभी कैसा experience चल रहा है on your 6 kg roaster?
Abhi the experience is good. Like we have installed it 15 days back. So still in the learning phase. But it's bringing out great coffees. And I have given out samples to all the clients I have. And everyone has appreciated it. Like it's giving me better results than an Alio Bullet.
Okay.
So which is a good thing. But the only problem is when I started the coffee business, the second business, that was in 2023. Back then the coffee prices doubled. Now there's a shortage of LPG. When I moved from electric to LPG roaster.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that. We'll come to that. Definitely. चलिए, ये तो आपने अपनी बताया कि आप किस तरीके से रोस्टिंग की आपकी जर्नी रही है, how on the machinery aspect of it. What do you think, like, how it happened with the consumer side, when you started this business during the COVID, और उसके बाद में आपको कस्टमर का क्या इंटरफेस रहा आपके साथ में? हाउ डिड यू फाइंड इट, लाइक, इन इन आई वुड लाइक टू यू टू कैटेगराइज इन बिटवीन द थ्री फेजेस व्हिच यू ऑलरेडी हैव डन. तो कैसे रहा ईयर बाय ईयर ग्रोथ?
So in the initial phases, we were just trying out coffees, and there was a very small market of home brewers who were interested in coffee brewing at home. Only those few people were purchasing coffee, and then they started getting more options. So every home brewer would come to you once a year, then try 12, 15 different roasters. क्योंकि एक बंदा कितनी कॉफी पी लेगा, and then come back to you again.
Absolutely.
But it was a long cycle. Also, big brands have like immense marketing budget, so everyone was putting a lot of marketing funds. So for small roasters like us, visibility was a big issue. So मतलब visible नहीं थे तो बिक नहीं रहे थे इतना. And I figured out in the initial 1 or 2 years that B2C is like very complicated market. You need deep pockets to sustain in it.
Okay.
So that's when I moved to the bullet roaster,
Okay.
which was a bigger machine, and I started focusing on the B2B market. Because अभी अगर आप अपने ही सर्कल में देखोगे तो कितने लोग घर पे कॉफी बीन्स खरीद के ब्रू कर रहे हैं. लाइक कितने लोगों के पास आपके नोन के अंदर फ्रेंच प्रेस मोका पॉट या कुछ पड़ा होगा.
I think the number is improving, but
Yeah.
again, it's not enough number to sustain a business, I would say.
Right.
You're exactly right. मतलब कि ये नहीं कह सकते कि आप सिर्फ D2C कर रहे हैं और उसके बाद में आप बहुत ही प्रॉफिटेबल हो जाएंगे. I think everybody is, let's say about 70% of people are still stuck with that Nescafe pouch,
Right.
or a Nescafe coffee or a brew, or maybe somebody who's really fancy, they can go with a Davidoff or something like that. उसके अलावा तो, and I'm talking about people who are actually coffee drinker, black coffee drinker, straight up coffee drinker, something like that. उनकी भी हालत वही है.
Right.
I mean, हालत की बात मेरे कहने का मतलब, I don't want to. It's very easy.
Yeah, it's convenient.
It's convenient.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all about convenience. See, चाय इतनी बड़ी चीज़ क्यों है इंडिया के अंदर? Because it's very convenient. आप घर पे भी मिलेगी आपको, आप किसी के यहाँ जाओगे वो भी आपको ऑफर करेगा, और उसके बाद में अगर आप बाहर भी चले जाओगे तो आपको नुक्कड़ पे भी मिल जाएगी. And you can go to a good chayos, or maybe you can go to a fancy restaurant. There also you'll get a tea, also in hotels.
Right.
तो वो चीज़ एक्सेसिबिलिटी जो होती है वो बहुत ज़्यादा मैटर करती है, आई थिंक. व्हाट डू यू थिंक?
I think that's totally true. यही गैप था मार्केट के अंदर, which I told you already, कि तब सिर्फ अमेरिकानो ही थी ब्लैक कॉफी के नाम पे. People had not tried specialty coffee. तो किसी को पता ही नहीं वो टेस्ट कैसा करती है. So this gap is still there, but it is reducing with every year passing. So, but again, जैसे जैसे कैप रिड्यूस हो रहा है वैसे वैसे और रोस्टर्स आ रहे हैं, एंड मार्केटिंग दीज कॉफीज ऑन जस्ट B2C प्लेटफॉर्म्स is like really difficult to sustain a business. So our goal was to move to the B2B side fully. Once that is settled, we are getting decent cash flow every month, then we can start burning some money on the B2C side and make it a brand.
Okay.
So right now we are still focusing on the B2B side of the business.
Okay.
We are trying to push volumes of coffee.
Volumes of coffee. That is actually sensible also. So that you can first survive, and maybe you can become a blue tokai later on.
Right.
I mean, people know about blue tokai. Everybody knows it. तो वो उनका जो market segment है, and they've been doing for years now.
Right.
They have been into the market for quite a long time. I think they started in 2013, 14?
13, 12, 13.
13, 12, 13, 14, I think, something like that. ये हम उसी ज़माने की बात कर रहे हैं जहाँ पर ना तो ब्रूइंग इक्विपमेंट्स थे,
Right.
ना कोई कॉफ़ी अच्छी चेंज थी. आई मीन द ओनली थिंग विच यू हैड इज दैट बरिस्ताज और कैफे कॉफ़ी डे या फिर कोस्टा कॉफ़ी. दैट्स ऑल सर्विंग ऑल डार्क रोस्ट, essentially that roastery कर रहे थे वो लोग. Let's get into deep dive in your in your business, as in, like, I don't want you to be under any pressure to disclose your numbers or something like that. I just want to know, what is when you source your green beans, when you look at it from a manufacturer perspective, so what do you look into beans, and how do you go about it?
So like
How do you select your what you're buying, raw material?
So this is something that I have made a regular practice with every new sourcing. What we do is we call in all the estates, get a bunch of samples, try them out. And we try them, like we do cupping the next day after roasting. Then after a week, we make a pour over. Then after 10 days, we do a espresso out of it. And if we like that particular coffee, we place a bulk order for that. So it has been a standard practice. Every time we are sourcing new beans, we are sampling it. So that's how we ensure that the quality is good enough to be released in the public.
So do you stick to one source only, which you have selected? Do you work with different guys? Or
Even if we are,
for example, like, if you have a particular roast, like, you might have your commodities, you might have your 80/20s, you might have your, specialty, double A, triple A. So all these things are different from, are these from different vendors, I mean, cultivators, so to say? Or is it there is something in the industry which you trust on, यार यहाँ से आएगा तो बढ़िया ही होगा, of course, with your testing and all these things which you have done in the entire life cycle?
I think there is no such thing कि इससे आएगा तो बढ़िया होगा, क्योंकि क्रॉप हर बार चेंज होगी थोड़ी बहुत. So you have to try that out. अगर आप ट्राई करे बिना ले रहे हो तो you are not sure कि end result क्या आ रहा है आपके पास. Even if the farmer is supplying you the perfect coffee which he has produced, हो सकता है वो आपके पिछले ईयर की हार्वेस्ट से मैच ना करे. हो सकता है उसमें कुछ 19-20 हो. So like you have to try it out. If you like it, then you roast it. And roasting, and we have that much liberty wherein we can tweak certain variables to match the profile of the previous year coffee and provide the same quality of coffee to the end consumer.
तो तन्मय, ये तो बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो गया ना. I mean, for example, I am using a coffee since, let's say I'm using a coffee since 2021.
Okay.
I am used to a certain palate now.
Right.
I know your coffee taste कि भाई ऐसा ही आने वाला है, whatever notes which I'm getting, like chocolate, nutty, whatever it may be, according to my liking. Now it is a challenge. Is it a challenge, or I'm sure it is a challenge for you to maintain that kind of thing, because you would have to experiment a lot of things. And people, when you develop a brand, see, you are a known brand in the market today's time. If a cafe is using your coffee beans, it is rather, they have to maintain that kind of consistency जो कि उनको maintain करनी है, and that is a challenge for you also.
Right.
तो कैसे करते हो आप इसको?
We try to cup all the batches that we roast against the batch which was roasted earlier to see if both the batches are similar. अगर वो होता है, then we pass the QC and वो फिर आगे supply करते हैं coffee. Like mostly once a day we do cupping.
Okay.
ताकि वो match हो पाए profile. Also with the newer coffees coming in, so we always have a batch of the existing coffee. So we use that to compare it with the new coffee, and we try to match both the roast profiles.
Okay.
So once that is done, it is doable. One thing which is like very important for a roaster is to have like good sensory abilities. I don't have that good of a
मैं उसी पे
sensory
आने वाला था
palate.
एक्चुअली.
Okay.
मैं उसी पे आने वाला था, बिकॉज क्या होता है, देखो, जैसे कि हम लोग बात करते हैं, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट अ विस्की विच इज कमिंग, विच इज बीन डेवलप्ड इन 1800s or something like that. There is a brand, there is a legacy, there is a blender who does it. Your job is like a blender only.
Right.
Correct? You have to get that taste out of it, and there are so your thing is like, compared to that only. It is very important for somebody to have that kind of sensory notes कि यार वो चीज़ आपको हर बारी पता चले कि आप उसको, because it's not easy to maintain your coffee taste which you were giving in 2021 and 2026. It's a gap of 5 years.
Right.
How you are maintaining and how other people are maintaining
I think
sensory.
everybody uses the sensory part only, and with cupping and like tasting helps a lot. So like with time, the palates get developed. Like back in 2020, I was not able to drink a cup of Americano.
Okay.
It used to be like too bitter for me. And अभी भी मेरे घर में कोई भी नहीं पीता black coffee.
अच्छा.
It's just me who is drinking, and I've like developed palate over time. So it's like it's our field. We have to.
So
There's no other option.
So we have got black coffee for you.
Okay.
We have got a coffee from Black Coffee Cafe. Let's sip it also. Now, what do you think about the change in the dynamics of the pricing which is happening with the coffee beans? And one more question, additional question to it is, uh, what is happening in today's time? With the shortage of gas, war happening, transportation issues. How you guys are coping up in the entire roaster vicinity?
I think I'll start with the gas part. Like we got lucky with it because we had the plan to sell out our electric roasters, which we didn't.
Okay.
So right now we have two electric roasters and a gas roaster. So we are still using the electric ones
Okay.
and
Lucky.
producing coffee out of it, and we are also using gas roaster for like setting up our profiles and everything. I hope that this thing gets settled really soon, so that the gas prices are back to normal. Otherwise, it will affect everything, not just coffee, but all the plant, all the like the fertilizers, everything related to logistic will go up, and eventually the end consumer will end up paying for all that. Like if you go to buy a commercial cylinder, which was costing around 1500 1600 15 days back, is costing around 5000.
Okay. 5,000.
5000.
Is it just a little controversial thing?
Okay.
क्या लीगल है या फिर मतलब कैसे जुगाड़ है?
जुगाड़ से मिल रहा
जुगाड़ ही
है.
है.
Legally तो लोग फोन नहीं उठा रहे.
Legally
The
phone नहीं उठा
suppliers
रहे.
are not
Suppliers
picking
are
up
not
the
picking
calls.
up.
So that is another issue. Luckily, we got a decent amount of cylinders
Okay.
when we set up the roastery.
Okay.
And अभी उतनी roasting करी नहीं है नया roaster पे. So we have ample amount of supply with us. But again, then the coffee prices, like back in 2024, they started to rise like rapidly. Then it went to a point where in the coffee, which was costing earlier at around, let's say, $400, was costing around 800, 850. And the market still has the perception that they'll get a good coffee in 800, 900 rupees.
हाँ ये
Roasted coffee.
you're right यार. पता क्या हुआ था तन्मय, काफी टाइम अभी, आई थिंक इट्स बिन ऑलमोस्ट अ ईयर, एक साल पुरानी बात है ये, जब people are saying, I think it's due to the global warming and less production in entire world, and of course especially like green beans मिल नहीं रहे थे, or it was getting expensive in India also. It took a turn. Then people were getting they were getting good specialty coffee at a price of, like, let's say 1200 rupees a kg or something like that. They used to get good coffee, but again the prices have increased like 30%, 40%. People, depends किसका कितना है उसके हिसाब से उसने बढ़ा लिया. People could afford it, people could not. They actually jumped down to the lower grade of coffee also. They were using 100%. They got into 80-20s. They gone to triple A to double A. वो सब चीज़ें हुई हैं. But are you facing? I mean, what my question here is कि जो लोग quality चाहते हैं, are they able to pay it? I mean, are they comfortable paying for it, or is it still the same कि भाई सस्ती दे दो?
Like, I'll tell you very frankly, हमारे पास इतनी roasting capacity नहीं थी. So we are not out for the people who were looking for cheaper options.
Okay.
So हम सिर्फ quality कर रहे थे.
Oh wow.
And we were happy with that. So now we have a bigger machine. तो अब हमें करना पड़ेगा cheaper options भी. But now the coffee prices have also stabilized a bit. ये नहीं बताना चाहिए था.
नहीं नहीं कोई बात. देखो यार, जो बात सच है वो सच है. If it is what it is. How's the coffee?
It's good.
हाँ, अच्छी है. I mean, that's a lot of nutty and chocolate in it. Little
So the temperature after delivery, the temperature is
the
nice.
temperature is very nice. I think they are doing collectively a good job. Now I want to ask you about what is the journey of roasting? क्या होता है, कैसे करते हैं? If somebody wants to start roasting, कैसे करेगा वो बंदा?
So I'll do one thing. I'll walk you through the entire process.
Absolutely.
We've already discussed how we source the coffee. So once, let's say, cupping, everything is done, we have procured the bulk coffee.
But sourcing मतलब sourcing करने के लिए क्या कुछ parameters हैं, कुछ जगहें हैं जाने के लिए, या कैसा है करके?
It's always advisable if you visit the estate, have a direct connection with the planters. It's beneficial for you. You know how your product is being grown, how they are taking care of the plants, and the entire supply chain. So if that's not possible with you, you can always like give a call to them or ping them on Instagram, get their contact details, email the farmers. They are like good guys. Everyone will send you samples. Try those coffees on your roasting machine, see how they are performing, and procure them. So once the procurement part is done, you get your coffee. So there are like multiple ways to approach roasting. So if you have a sample roaster, sample multiple batches, make a profile out of it. Let's say there's a coffee from some estate, wash process coffee. It could taste good on a lighter roast, a medium roast, or a dark roast. So
Okay.
you have to try those out. Once you have finalized the profile that you would be going forward with, you move that from a sample roaster to the production machine. So when moving the entire process on a production machine, there are certain parameters that you have to check. The first thing that you have to check is the moisture amount of the coffee because that will impact a lot in the roasting process. So higher moisture coffees generally require higher charge temperatures. Similar thing goes with the density of the coffee also.
Okay.
So you have to check moisture, you have to check density before putting the coffee into the drum. Once the coffee is roasted, you take the output out. Then you check the coffee for the Actron color. Actron color is basically a numeric reading for the color of the coffee beans.
Okay.
So your naked eye cannot always like rectify if this is a light or a medium roast.
Okay.
Also, the coffee develops differently. Like let's say you have done a really fast roast, so the end temperature you have achieved 210 or 212, whatever the temperature end temperature you have achieved, but the entire time of the roast was pretty short because it was a fast roast. So let's say it was a 7 minute or a 6 minute roast on a drum roaster.
Okay.
So basically, what you have done, you have roasted the outer part of the bean, but the inside of the bean has still not been roasted properly. So there
Simple
would
mistake
be,
of fast cooking, basically.
yeah. So there would be a significant difference on the actron color of the whole bean and the ground bean. So that coffee will give you vegetative notes.
What is the ideal time frame for roasting a batch?
That depends on the roast style. And that also depends on variable factors like what's the environment temperature.
Give us example. What do you do, basically?
So to give you an example for a washed coffee, because that's the coffee that we roast mostly, and that is the coffee that we are supplying to a lot of cafes. So for any washed coffee, you have to check the moisture content. If the moisture is between, ideally, the moisture content for a green bean should be between 8 to 12%. More moisture will eventually end up in like coffee molds, and the life of the coffee will shorten because of that. And if the moisture is like too low, it would be really difficult to roast the coffee.
Okay.
So it should be between 8 to 12%. So there are devices like moisture meter in market on which you can check the moisture level.
Okay.
Then comes the density of the coffee, how dense is the bean basically. So you can do that with a standard container also, or there are devices for that also. Whichever is convenient for you, you can use that to measure both the things.
Okay.
So we generally use that coffee depending on the environment temperature. We charge it at a certain point. Then our roast process is generally between 11 to 12 minutes, like between 10 to 12 minutes, depending on the roast level. And that's how we do it.
Okay. So once the beans are roasted, once you hear the first crack and everything else has happened, you're taken out the coffee. What do you do? What is the packing process and what is our degassing and all these things? If you can explain to our viewers.
So basically, once you get the first crack, the coffee gets into the development phase of roasting. So that's the phase where you have to put a lot more attention because a degree up or down can eventually end up in the cup, like the end cup tasting a lot different. So you have to manage every bit of it. Then you have to drop it on the cooling tray. Cooling becomes a really important thing in coffee roasting.
Okay.
If the coffee is not cooled immediately after dropping out of the drum, that will eventually end up tasting a lot more burnt.
Okay.
Because wherever you like, once you have dropped the coffee on the cooling tray, it is advisable you cool that down in less than 4 minutes.
Okay.
Only then the coffee will retain all its flavor. Otherwise it will keep on cooking further, which you don't want. Because आपने एक set temperature सोचा था दिमाग के अंदर कि इस पे I'll drop my coffee, and आपने drop कर दी, but your cooling fan is not working properly, या there's some other issue with the cooling tray or something, and आपकी coffee उतनी जल्दी cool down नहीं होती, so it will eventually end up getting more roasted. So फिर आपको जो flavor notes नहीं चाहिए coffee के अंदर वो भी आ जाएंगे.
बिल्कुल.
So we cool down the coffee. So it's generally a 4 minute cycle.
Okay.
Then we put that in like food grade containers and keep that aside for another 3-4 days. We let the coffee degas. Degassing is basically once you roast the coffee tends to release a lot of CO2.
Okay.
During that initial phase, if you're making a manual brew or an espresso out of it, that won't taste that great. Primary reason is because the coffee contains a lot of CO2.
Okay.
Also, like with espressos and everything,
So how many days for degassing?
that depends on the roast level,
Okay. Let's
what
say a
method you're
medium
using.
dark.
A medium dark roast generally tastes nice after 7 days.
Okay.
If you're making an espresso, it is advisable you keep at least 10 days of resting period for coffee. That's the reason you get like 1 vival bags for coffee beans, because everyone wants the coffee to get degassed properly. Otherwise, it'll taste very bad. Degassing becomes important like when you're pulling a shot of espresso. Espresso is getting extracted at a 9 bar pressure
Okay.
on like standard espresso machines.
Absolutely.
So if the water is getting poured on the puck and the puck is releasing massive amount of CO2, everything in the portafilter will get disturbed and you'll get a lot of channeling, a lot of bad flavor in your cup which you don't want. So well rested coffee is again a good thing to have.
Okay.
So we try, but we are not always able to achieve it. But we always try to hand out the coffee after 6 or 7 days so that the end consumer gets a well rested degas bag of coffee.
Fair enough. I think that is not. I mean, like you said, you try to rest it up, but again, the demand is such.
Yep.
They want to just order it now, and tomorrow they want deliveries. So how do you maintain your supplies?
Frankly speaking, for now we were not able to do that because of the smaller machines. But now we have gotten like big containers. We'll like put numbering on all the containers with the date of roast, and we'll try to roll them out based on
MRDs and
that
all,
only.
yeah.
Yeah. Also, with like our frequent clients, we know their order cycle. So we already have their coffee roasted and kept with us even before they place the order. So the coffee, by the time the coffee reaches the customer, is properly degassed and well rested. This is a great question that you had asked because there's a lot of misconception in the community about degassing also. People always think the fresher the coffee, the better it is.
Absolutely, but you can't drink that cup of coffee which
Right.
is which has been developed just now.
Right.
I mean, if it is roasted yesterday or maybe 3 days ago, you cannot drink that. I mean, it's really
Even for cupping the coffees, the tasting that we do, it is advisable you do it after 12 to 24 hours only.
correct.
Otherwise, you'll not get to know like the
What is the
proper.
profile of the coffee? Tell me one thing which I wanted to ask you is what happens once the coffee is produced? It is degassed now. We're counting from day 0.
Okay.
15 दिन बाद क्या होता है? 30 दिन में क्या होता है? 45 days, 60 days, and if it is 3 months old and older than that.
Okay.
तो क्या फर्क होता है? What is the profiling? If it is a fresh coffee, क्या होती है उसके अंदर notes for our customers to know, okay, for our viewers to know.
So most of the fresh coffee will taste astringent. So the curve goes like this. There's a peak at let's say around 15-20 days. Then it starts falling slowly, steadily. So the reason like coffee never expires. So अगर आप 1 साल 2 साल पुरानी भी कॉफी पी रहे हो, it'll be okay.
क्या बात कर रहे हो?
आप बीमार नहीं होगे,
अच्छा,
right? But
बीमार नहीं होंगे.
बीमार नहीं होगे. Like I have seen videos people trying out like 60 years old coffee, 40
Really?
years old coffee. Yeah. But the thing with coffee is like there's, as I just said, like there's a peak after 10-15 days, depending on the roast profile, the roast of the coffee, the roast level of the coffee, the type of coffee it is. So there would be a peak, and after that the flavors will start steadily and gradually declining over a period of time. So on all our packets we have written like 40 best before 45 days, which is a decent amount wherein there's some flavor left in the coffee. After that, the flavors are almost flat.
So आप 45 days दे रहे हो, बाकी लोग क्या करते हैं? Let's say
हमने भी increase I think पीछे किया था. We have shifted to like 6 months now. But coffee इतना अच्छा taste नहीं करती. So this is what I tell.
6 months पुरानी 6 months पुरानी हो जाएगी.
6 months पुरानी हो जाएगी. फिर वो बहुत flat taste करेगी.
But not even 3 months.
Not even 3 months.
मतलब आप बोल रहे हो कि आप कॉफी को
Like आपने day 0 से 10 दिन तक resting करो. Try consuming coffee within 10 to 45 days. This is what we recommend, and this is how we plan our cafes roast like order cycle also.
Order cycle also.
कि we don't push our customers to purchase let's say
मतलब
15
एक महीना
kilo.
पुराना हो गया तो ठीक है, चल
हाँ,
जाएगा.
एक महीना पुराना हो गया, 1.5 महीना पुराना हो गया तो भी चल जाएगा.
हम्म.
बट बियॉन्ड दैट वो बहुत सिग्निफिकेंट फर्क आ जाता है कॉफी के अंदर फ्रॉम लाइक अ फ्रेश कॉफी टू ओल्डर कॉफी.
That is the reason why transportation and everything
Right.
has to be very important.
This was the part that I just told you कि जैसे दिल्ली के अंदर still a good amount of cafes are using Lavazza beans. अब Lavazza ऑफ द शेल्फ पड़ी रहती है. वो 6 महीने 8 महीने साल पुरानी कॉफी है. ठीक है, तो वो टेस्ट अच्छा कर ही नहीं पाएगी. कस्टमर को कभी पता ही नहीं लगेगा कि कॉफी की पोटेंशियल क्या थी. अगर यहाँ पे अभी फ्रेश Lavazza मिल रही हो, so you can definitely try it out.
Definitely उसको ढंग से निकाला जाए तो मिल सकता है.
अच्छा बनेगा.
और same could happen with the imported coffee also.
Yeah, same thing.
आप
आप
import
कितनी भी अच्छी पैकेजिंग कर लो, कुछ भी कर लो, if the coffee is roasted and it is not consumed within a certain period of time, vacuum seal हो, कुछ भी हो, it'll tend to lose a lot of flavor after a certain point.
Why there is a hole in the packet of coffee bean?
So
Coffee beans.
I'll tell you a story for that. So during Industrial Revolution, coffee was getting roasted in like bigger machines, and they were doing it on the darker roast profiles, and they were just pushing out that coffee. So जब वो एकदम roast होके pack होके निकलती थी, तो a lot of packets ended up getting burst out because of all the gases released. The darker you roast, the more the gases getting released from the coffee bags.
So slowly it can get.
Yeah. So
But doesn't it get oxidized also if it is closed?
It'll not get oxidized if the packet is sealed.
But again, the kind of opening which you have got at the back of the.
So that is called one-way valve. So all the air from inside can escape out, but outside air cannot enter in. So oxidation is avoided with that particular thing. So after that, it became a trend. Like all the roasters, even if now we are doing a lighter roast or a medium roast, now people have that thing set in their mind. If the packet doesn't have a one-way valve, the coffee is not specialty or a good cup of good coffee, basically. Which is not the case now. Because if you're roasting too light, that coffee will not degas that much. And अगर आप one-way valve नहीं भी लगाते हैं, degas होने के बाद आप pack कर रहे हो, so it is good to go. But अब वो norm बन गया market का, and everyone is doing it. So you have to ride the wave.
I mean, it is not necessary for a lighter roast.
Right.
Which I mean to say, like, or थोड़ा सा heavy roast है तो definitely you need to do it in the way it is. Okay, Tanmay, what I wanted to ask you is that once you supply your coffee beans to some cafes, do you go there personally and dial in the coffee, because that's the hardest part? You do that? Do you?
We have made it a habit that we always visit our clients, like to fix the coffee, like to set the coffee, because every coffee requires separate recipe to brew. If you're brewing on the same recipe, it won't taste that good. So we have made it a habit, like after sampling, we calibrate the grinder and the machine. Also, we have made it a habit to tease the barista who is mostly available at that particular outlet, how to calibrate it throughout the day. Because what I have seen and what I have experienced with a lot of cafes is that the cafe owners don't allow their baristas to change the grinder setting or the machine setting, which is not a good thing. Like, coffee is getting degassed throughout the day. The temperature varies a lot in the morning, in the evening, at the night. Also the machine cleaning, also the grinder, at which speed it's like the consistency of the grinder also changes depending on the cleaning of the grinder. If the grinder is not clean for a very long time, उसके burrs उतना consistent grind size नहीं दे पाएंगे. So all that affects the calibration a lot. So we have made it a habit to give the basic training along with the beans to the customer. But if somebody asks for help, we definitely try to visit their outlet, fix the coffee, because eventually our name is
on the line.
On the line,
yes. And do you do consulting also, Tanmay? I mean, do you do consulting in terms of when somebody is opening up a cafe, beverage consulting and all these things you do?
We plan to do, like, we have done multiple projects without any charge.
Okay, without any charge?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So nice for your customers.
Right now we have like put a certain value on that, and we'll be definitely charging for the consulting project. And then we have multiple partners with whom we connect on separate projects and do consulting.
So what kind of consulting do you provide?
We try to provide end-to-end consulting on the beverage side,
Mm-hmm.
on the coffee layout, on the coffee setup side,
Mm-hmm.
when we would recommend a good coffee machine along with a good grinder, depending on the
So
use
basically machinery
machinery
pick.
consulting,
Yeah.
then what blend will suit the specific outlet.
Mm-hmm.
We consult on the coffee part. Then we also help with building a basic menu
Mm-hmm.
with like some signature drinks and basic drinks. And we set SOPs, we train the barista, we help them hire a barista.
Mm-hmm.
So all that is included in the consulting part.
Okay.
I think being a roaster consultant becomes a unsaid thing. Like you have to be a good consultant if you are into the roasting business.
Mm-hmm. Another question which I want to ask you is that what is the route map of somebody becoming a roaster?
I would suggest try drinking coffee first.
Okay.
Once you get a good sense of like the cup, the flavor
Mm-hmm.
profile, and everything,
Mm-hmm.
move towards roasting or
Mm-hmm.
like brewing. Try brewing on all the equipment,
Mm-hmm.
then take a step towards roasting because that will help you a lot. You'll have like set ground of knowledge for
Mm-hmm.
your palate and everything. So whenever you're roasting coffee, you're trying it out, you would be able to rectify what I did wrong or what I did right with this
Mm-hmm.
particular batch of roast.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever a new guy is approaching roasting, try changing just one variable, not mess a lot and do like multiple things up and down. Otherwise, you'll not get to know what particular change resulted in the end cup.
So that's a supplementary question which I'm going to ask you is uh, what are the courses available in India make you a good roaster? Or, what are the courses which are available? What is the educational help which you have got? What is the academics which you have to develop, which you have to go through to become a roaster or a coffee master for that matter, like somebody who's evolved in coffee. It's for our viewers, I mean, for to know, I mean, how they can approach, what are the communities or what are the institutions which provide that kind of if you can lay some light on that.
I think right now there are not a lot of courses available in the market specifically for roasting,
Mm-hmm.
but it is always advisable like you go through bean to cup once so that you get to know the entire journey of the coffee from the plant to the cup.
Mm-hmm.
That helps a lot.
Okay.
Then there are some courses by companies like Copy Machines.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are some institute like Coffee Board of India does a coffee roasting training.
Yeah. Barista Training Academy
Barista
also.
Training Academy
Yes.
also does the basic module of coffee roasting.
Mm-hmm.
Then we are doing some courses with Copy Machine wherein we are just focusing on the roasting part
Okay.
on specific machines. So it is a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I think a lot more trainers are required in India to teach coffee
Mm-hmm.
roasting part because even if you see the SCA thing in India going on,
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot many trainers for sensory, for
Okay.
barista skills,
Mm-hmm.
but not a lot of trainers for roasting.
तो एससीए का क्या सीन है अभी मतलब are they focused on roasting? Are they only focused on I mean like you said कि कम लोग कम है जो कि आपको ट्रेन कर सकते हैं लोग तो are there any courses available here in India and where are those courses and how can one can enroll themselves into because that is the benchmark I think
Yeah.
having a SCA course or sensory or a barista training skills barista skills and all these things are the benchmark I think in the industry. So what do you suggest? I mean,
I think there's a school in Bangalore called Berico.
okay.
They are doing coffee roasting courses.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a school in Dehradun,
Mm-hmm.
Tawasa Coffee.
Okay.
They also are doing the entire SCA courses. So those are a good start point.
Okay.
But like I said, it's a art. So the more you do, the better you get in roasting. Because the basic knowledge will get you through,
Mm-hmm.
but to develop your own profiles, to develop a particular standard roast profile that everyone likes, you have to roast coffees and understand it inside out.
Let's discuss about Tawasa. You said there are certain courses which are available there for roasting. So can you tell our viewers more about it so that people can from north of India could probably take advantage of it and could start roasting and get into the business of roasting.
Right. So Tawasa Coffee is basically a coffee roaster based out of the Dehradun.
Mm-hmm.
So they have tied up with a lady called Regine.
Okay.
So she's the one who is initiating all the SCA courses. She's a certified trainer for everything,
Okay.
like for green beans, for barista skills, for sensory,
Mm-hmm.
for roasting, for the brewers
Okay.
thing also. So she's a great, like I did one of the courses with her
Oh,
and it was great.
okay.
So
Which
if you,
course did you
I did the SCA professional course.
SCA professional? So
Yeah.
once you graduate from them, what happens then?
So there's a small online exam that you have to give. You pass that, you get the certificate.
Okay. Then post that, can you train also, or and
If you have like the SCA has certain guidelines, if you secure all three, earlier it used to be like three
I mean,
intermediate.
now I'm asking you about how to become a trainer.
Yeah.
I earlier I was just to segregate between two, like you said, like
So like if you have done SCA beginner,
Mhm.
intermediate and professional course in a set field. So there are like 5 different fields.
Okay, yeah, please
One
explain.
is green beans,
Mhm.
the other is SCA brewing,
Okay,
SCA barista,
okay,
SCA roasting,
okay.
green roasting, barista, SCA sensory. So these are the 5 different modules that SCA has to offer,
Mhm.
and all these 5 modules have 3 different courses.
Mhm.
One is the beginner level, which teaches you like everything from scratch. Then comes the intermediate, and then comes the professional level
Okay.
for this. So if you have done all three, it used to be all three, but
Mhm.
now if you have done intermediate and professional, then you can apply for the trainer.
Trainer.
So there's a separate exam for becoming a trainer. If you pass that, you become a trainer for SCA.
Okay. So you would have to do certain, like in our field. I mean, in our wine structure, there is WSET,
Okay.
Wine Spirit and Education Trust. It is more or less similar to that. I think it's uh, you have to do a level one, level two, level three, and level four course. Then
Yeah.
post that you become a trainer. So that is similar to that only.
Right.
Are you planning to do one, or what are you up to?
I've done
Is
the
it
intermediate from Vietnam, then I did the professional from Regine.
okay?
Then I'm planning to apply for the trainer. But
So
that also depends, like the trainer validity is for like a year or two.
okay.
So you have to have that sort of audience base
Mm-hmm.
wherein people want to learn from you.
Mm-hmm.
Only then it's helpful.
I think
Like you have to have a proper facility with like all the roasting machines, everything, a proper lab sort of setup wherein you can take these courses.
I think with you coming as a professional, I think it's a very good thing for the industry. I think you should do it
I'm
probably.
planning to do it like with the new
But
roastery
again,
that
it
I have.
depends. With your time and everything else, you
Right,
could do
right,
so
right.
much in the hours which you have got in the day. I understand that. I hear you, bro. But again, I think you should do it.
No, I definitely plan to do it, but I'm just settling things up right now. So once that is done, we'll definitely plan like the proper SCA roasting courses. Also, we have a couple of roasters now, so we can train on all the different machines and do that.
Wonderful. Good to hear that. There is this thing which is very vital in the field of roasting, that green bean defect. Would you like to share something on that?
Definitely. So there's a book from SCA
Mm-hmm.
called Green Bean Defect Book that earlier was only focused on the Arabica coffee beans, but now they also have a different variant for Robustas. So there are certain number that is given to the defect. If the numbers are exceeding that, so that coffee is not considered to be specialty.
Okay.
So most of the defects mostly are like the broken beans, then there are insect damage, then there's partial damage,
Okay.
then there are stones sometimes in the coffee beans. Those are like not acceptable in specialty coffee standards.
Absolutely.
Then there are full black coffee beans which are either withered because of the weather condition or the storage conditions of the coffee. So all these effects add on to a certain number, and if the number exceeds a lot, that particular batch of coffee is not considered as specialty coffee. So this is something that every new roaster should do. Should check the sample size. The ideal sample size for checking green bean defect is 350 grams.
Okay.
Should take a 350-gram sample,
Fair enough.
remove all the defect by hand, and see how many defects are there.
Okay.
Use the guideline book that is from the SCA to check all those defects and score their own coffee. Because more the defect that end up in our cup, the more worse the cup will taste.
True.
So there are like sour beans, which are basically floaters.
Yeah.
There are like a plenty number of defects. You'll have to go through everything to get an understanding about the green beans.
Let's talk about specialty coffee, so to say. Like, what are the guidelines for becoming a specialty coffee, and what is the what is the myth and the hidden facts about specialty coffee?
So specialty coffee is a
है
term.
क्या मतलब क्या है इतना फ्लॉन्ट अराउंड है क्या दिक्कत है
So basically
लोग हर कोई
the
बंदा why it is
so basically coffee that scores above 80 by a Q grader
okay
is called specialty coffee.
above 80.
Above 80.
So out of 100 is scoring above 80
Above 80.
and is supposed to be a specialty coffee.
Yeah. The lowest score is I think 60.
Okay.
Any coffee above 80 is specialty coffee.
Okay.
So there are multiple parameters on which a coffee is judged. Is it a specialty or not? The first being the defects in the coffee bean on a particular batch size. The second is the cup profile that the coffee brings out.
Okay.
It shouldn't be on the extreme of any of the variable. Like whenever we are doing cupping, we are looking for the acidity, for the body, for the aromas, for the taste profile, for the bitterness, for the sweetness. So there are basically 10 parameters on which we rate a coffee.
Okay.
So we have to check all these. If it scores above 80, only then the coffee is considered to be specialty.
Does the specialty cafes?
Yeah. The cafes who are using specialty coffee are specialty coffee cafes.
Okay. So simple.
Simple. It's not that a commercial coffee can't taste as good as specialty coffee.
Yes.
But the only problem with commercial coffees is there would be a ton of defects in the particular beans, and you don't know from where the source is exactly from, because there would be a middleman who is procuring coffee from smaller estates, giving that to you. So वो traceability भी रह जाती है.
बिल्कुल.
With the third wave of coffee, everything is about sustainability, specialty.
So another thing which I wanted to discuss with you, Tanmay, is that what is a fix for this? If somebody wants to drink a cup of coffee at their home, what is a fix for that? I mean, people are drinking, like we said in the beginning. Also, we are like seven. Let's say, like I would not be sure about the percentage again, but I would say 70%, 80% of the people are still stuck at Davidoff and all the instant coffee because they don't have a choice and they don't have time for this. What should we as a community? I mean, uh, what do you advise and how do you suggest how we can get into the right field or right way where we can do something about the regular coffee drinker who wakes up in the morning, they're looking for a cup of coffee, and what could be the fix? कुछ है मार्केट में ऐसा या कोई कर रहा है इसके लिए काम या फिर कुछ आपको लगता है क्या कर सकते हैं हम लोग इसके लिए?
I'll try to break this down in two different parts.
Definitely, please.
First being the black coffee and second being the milk-based beverage.
ठीक है.
So for the black, there's plenty of options that you can do. So there are basically easy pour bags which set on the cup top. You just have to pour in hot water and your black coffee is ready.
Okay.
Then the other option for making black coffee, if you can get a grinder and a basic French press, that is I think a great investment. Everything will cost you under 3K, 4K.
Maybe a
Getting
hand grinder,
decent-
something like
yeah,
that.
a basic hand grinder, a basic French press, 300, 400 bucks French press. That'll give you amazing cup of coffee. If you don't want to put in a lot of effort, just put 2 spoons of coffee powder, the grounded coffee that you have just grinded from a grinder, put in hot water from a basic kettle and let it set for 4 minutes. Then press it gently. You have made yourself a great cup of French press, black
press.
coffee.
That's very simple. I think it's
And if you want to have like cold beverage, you can use the same method, the French press method or the easy pour with like a bit of ice. Else you can make a cold brew out of it.
absolutely.
Get a coarsely grounded coffee from market. Put like 3-4 tablespoons, put in a water. Keep that in fridge. Let it stain overnight. Also, brands like Blue Tokai have cold brew bags, which you can use. Just throw the bag in a bottle, fill in water. You have made yourself great cup of cold brew, which you can consume like 3-4 days also.
Okay.
So that is the part for the
Black coffee.
black coffee.
Okay.
Then if I talk about the milk-based coffees, I think the
That's
best.
a challenging part, huh?
That's a bit of challenging, but it is still doable. The best and the closest thing that you can do to make a good cup of milk-based coffee is get a mocha pot. Right now in market, there are multiple mocha pot options available. 500-600 rupees से start okay, you get mocha pots up to like 3,500. So get a basic grinder along with that, grind your own fresh beans, put it in mocha pot, keep that on stove. You'll get a good sort of espresso extraction. Mix it with milk,
Mm.
or like make a ice latte out of it.
Okay.
Put in ice, put in milk, put the espresso that you have just extracted from mocha pot on top. You have made like cafe style coffee at home, which is like very convenient. Mocha pots generally take around 2 to 3 minutes to make, which is fairly easy. So that's how you can like move from instant to specialty with like bare minimum investment. Even
But
if you don't want to invest in a grinder initially, get grounded coffee from any of the roasters, and you can.
this is a traditional way of making, like,
uh,
it's all about manual brews, which you have mentioned. That's true. Like, these are the easiest way. But again, the fix for it. I mean, when I say fix for it, is like an instant coffee or something like that.
So right
Uh,
now, I think Blue Tokai have recently launched a new product,
mhm.
which is espresso concentrate in a tube or something.
Okay.
So you can use that, mix it with water, mix it with milk. That'll
Mhm.
give you a cup of specialty coffee.
Mhm.
I haven't tried it yet, so I can't tell you like how good it tastes.
But that's really interesting. I
But
mean,
that's a good initiative that they are doing.
I
Basically,
think
now Blue Tokai is making coffee more accessible to the masses.
to the masses, correct.
Then there's a brand called Zenma Coffee
Hmm.
who are doing frozen espresso pods.
Okay.
Uh, they're like blast freezing the espressos in a small pot,
Hmm.
which you just like have to defreeze and
Defrost.
defrost
Yeah.
them, and you just mix it with water or milk
Milk.
and make you a cup of coffee at home. So
Hmm.
that is another thing. Then I've seen some companies abroad doing tubes like of coffee which has like espresso concentrate in it. You just press it, squeeze it on cup, mix it. You have made yourself coffee. So there are a lot of things that are being done in this way also.
Hmm.
Nescafe apparently have a specialty coffee thing going around.
Hmm.
That is not available in India, but they are doing some sort of specialty instant coffee.
Okay.
I think that could be next big thing
Okay.
in terms of convenience and everything.
So all instant dehydrated coffee, which is frozen dried, and
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the same method they're doing it in the. Okay. Are you planning to? Do you wish to do something like that for your customers?
Not now, but eventually we'll definitely do something.
Because that's a next
Because
thing.
I
This
have
will.
a lot of relatives who ask for like coffee, and I am not able to send coffee to them because I can't explain the entire process. But right now it's like pretty easy to get into specialty coffee with
Hmm.
the Chinese equipment flooding the market.
Hmm.
You're getting grinders as cheap as 1,500, $1,000, which was not the case 3 or 4 years back.
Correct.
So that is a plus side of like the entire market growing together.
अच्छा एक और चीज़ चलती है तन्मय देर आर व्हेन यू पिक अप अ कॉफ़ी बैग तो उस पर लिखा होता है वॉश्ड unwashed, naturals, and you have fermented, then there is a thing called rum barrel and whiskey barrel. Then you get pineapple fermented, you get frozen cherries. What is all this? I mean, लोगों को बताओ यार कैसे मतलब क्या कर रहे हैं. How does your taste, I mean, your coffee, you're drinking a coffee, again it's tasting like rum or it's tasting like whiskey. What happens exactly? ये बहुत important है actually लोगों को बताना. और I mean it's a knowledge. I mean it should be shared how it has come down to this coffee tasting coffee. Now it's tasting like a wine, or maybe like a whiskey or something like that.
So in this particular thing, we have to thank farmers a lot because they are investing a lot in all these different, like researching a lot, investing a lot in equipment and machinery
Mm-hmm.
to do all these sort of processing methods.
Okay.
So earlier it was just natural and washed coffees.
Mm-hmm.
That also depended on the amount of
So what
raw.
is the difference between a natural and a washed coffee first?
So basically, places which used to have a lot of sunlight
Mm-hmm.
and a lot less water were doing natural process coffee. So in the natural process, you just pluck berries from the tree and let it dry on a raised bed or on the flat surface under sun. You just like keep rotating them quite often so that it's properly dried from all the sides. Then you put that in a dehulling machine or wash it in between,
Mm-hmm.
put it in dehulling machine, and the end product that you get is the coffee green bean. So basically, all of the natural processed coffee tastes a lot more fruitier
Okay.
because they have been kept to ferment under sun with the entire fruit for almost like 3 to 4 weeks or 5 weeks, depending on the climatic condition. So this was mostly done in areas where there was abundance of sunlight, places where there was not enough sunlight but a lot of water. So what people used to do, they used to remove the mucilage, the fruit of the coffee cherry.
Okay.
They used to remove the coffee cherry basically. They used to wash the seed of the coffee seed multiple times
Okay.
so that mucilage is out of it. Then they used to try that, and then they put that in hulling machine, remove the parchment. That is basically the washed coffee process.
Okay.
So whenever you are purchasing a bag of washed or a natural coffee, washed will look a lot more even because the processing is like that. And the natural coffee, on the other hand, would have like slight variation because कौन सा fruit कितना ज़्यादा सूखा, किस हिसाब से सूखा, that will eventually end up in deciding the color of that.
Okay.
So this was the major difference between washed and natural coffee. Then came the process called honey sun-dried,
Yes.
which is basically in between of washed and natural.
Okay.
So in honey sun-dried process,
क्या
they
होता है?
used to remove the skin of the fruit and certain percentage of mucilage, the fruit pulp, that decides the color of the honey.
Okay.
So even in honey process, there's black honey, yellow honey, red honey, white honey. The lighter the color of honey, the more close it's towards the washed coffee side.
Okay.
And the darker it is, like for example, black honey, the mucilage or the pulp which is left on the fruit would be on the higher side.
Okay.
That'll taste more like natural coffee.
Okay.
So this was the other thing. Then comes the co-ferment, the barrel aged, all these. So and this
Barrel age का क्या है?
So all the barrel, basically the barrels which were used to make whiskey or rum or something, like it could be anything, are used to ferment coffee.
Okay.
So basically they put coffee cherries in those fermenting tanks
Okay.
or barrels and close it, let it ferment for certain days. And that basically coffee seed acquires a lot of taste from its surrounding.
Okay.
So that's the reason whenever you read a coffee bag, there's sometime a lot is written on it, like on under which tree shade the particular coffee bean has been
At the end
grown.
of the day, it is crop. It is a crop.
Right,
So
right,
it
right.
is supposed to get that kind of notes from the soil it grows on.
Soil or the surrounding plants.
Just surrounding
it has
plants.
been.
Yes.
आसपास का जो भी होता है, coffee tries to absorb a lot of it. So that's the reason on the whiskey barrel coffees you get a hint of whiskey flavor notes to it. And ऐसे ही co-ferment start हो गए. Like now people put strawberries, coffees together to make a co-ferment out of it.
Okay.
Use different sort of yeast to
Pineapple
ferment.
ferment.
Pineapple fermented. Use different yeast to enhance certain flavor notes in coffees.
Okay.
So that is becoming a great thing. I think Ratnagiri Estate is doing a great work on this.
Okay.
Like we had 2 of their coffees this last year harvest. One had like very prominent notes of jasmine. The other had like crazy notes of rose.
Okay.
Both the coffee sold out like within a week or two,
Okay.
which was a great thing for us. So a lot has been done in the processing side, on the processing side.
Okay.
People sometimes think that we are adding something to it. A lot
हाँ वही मतलब कंसेप्शन यही है. देखो लेमन के लिए तो यही है कि आप ही कुछ डाल रहे हो. आपने विस्की में डुबो कर रखा हुआ है या फिर आपने
that
रम
is
में
not the
डुबो
case.
कर
वो सब कुछ farm पे होके हमारे पास आ रहा है. Farmers are the one who are like putting in all the effort.
That's very knowledgeable and that's very enlightening that it is done at the farmer side. So we have to know that we have to give the credit where it is due, and I think farmers are doing a great job in getting those kind of profiles which are never heard of.
Definitely.
मतलब 21 में मुझे नहीं लगता किसी ने विस्की बैरल सुना.
Also, Indian coffee has started to get acceptance worldwide.
Uh-huh.
तो जो बड़े brands है, they have started sourcing coffee from Indian estates,
Okay.
which is a big thing for India as well. Abhi recently, there's a coffee brand in US. They have started roasting coffee from Indian estate.
Which one?
I'm forgetting the name. I think Onyx Lab
Okay.
or something like that.
Okay.
I'll have to check.
Okay.
They have started roasting Sangmeshwar coffee, estate coffees.
Okay.
Then Ratnagiri is everywhere, which is a great thing for us.
Correct. Earlier it was Colombian coffee
Yeah.
or Ethiopian coffee. And what do you think? What is the benchmark of a coffee? A good specialty coffee, or for so to say, like a good great coffee from the entire globe. What do you think? What is the best? And who are the pioneer of supplying coffee beans
Internationally,
internationally?
I think Colombian, Ethiopian coffee,
Ethiopian coffee.
all these because of the terroir, the altitude at which they grow, the soil condition, all that affects a lot in the end cup.
Mm-hmm.
You would see a lot of competition, like barista competitions, using Colombian geisha,
Mm.
Panama geisha,
Okay.
all these coffees. Also, the varietals affect a lot on the end cup. So, according to me, I haven't tried that much of international coffees,
Okay.
but Indian coffees are also like
What do
really
you,
nice right
okay?
now.
What do you think about Thai coffees?
Trying again.
Vinayani curry? Oh, I was telling you about. I mean, telling about this thing in the earlier episode also. I had a great cup of Thai instant coffee.
Okay.
Crazy at somebody's home.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
amazing, amazing, and they do beautiful coffee. Even Nepalese coffee. I mean,
We've
Nepal
recently got
does
a sample from
Nepal.
Nepal.
Okay,
We
how's it?
haven't roasted it yet, but
Okay.
we'll definitely try it.
Have you done a lot on? Have you done something with northeastern coffee?
We are trying to get hold of Northeastern coffee.
Is it available?
It's available, but we are not able to find the correct source
Okay.
right now. If somebody who is watching wants to connect, we are open for that.
Correct. Correct. There is a demand in the.
Yeah, definitely.
There is a demand in the market. Okay. So we have talked about the courses, how somebody can begin the roasting journey, how somebody can graduate into it. When you are focused in producing, what are the challenges which you face? क्या challenges आते हैं when you're focused on producing your certain blends and certain roast profiles and everything else, like जो आप काम कर रहे हैं उसको हर बार you get challenging customers, you get challenges which is what kind of challenges basically क्या आपको क्या face करने के लिए मिलता है?
So I think सारी चीजें being a business owner turns out to be a challenge. Like if you're sourcing coffee, that is a big challenge because logistic में you don't know how the coffee is getting delivered to you. Abhi we went to the warehouse to collect the shipment, and right next to our shipment was sort of a old engine and oil was leaking out of it.
Oh my god.
So we were on time that the oil didn't get to the back, but
Okay.
it was almost there.
That's a logistic issue, man.
That's a logistic issue. Then, other than logistic issues, there's sourcing issue. Like we
ऐसा भी होता है कि किसी ने कुछ बोला और उसके बाद कुछ और दे दिया और
generally
आपने कुछ और सैम्पलिंग करी कि भाई माल तो कुछ और देखा था, हमने कुछ सैम्पलिंग अलग करी थी और उसके बाद में भाई माल तो कुछ और आया है.
generally नहीं
होता है
होता
ऐसा मतलब
generally नहीं होता ऐसा. Also मेरे साथ ऐसा नहीं होता क्योंकि I have been in the industry for quite some long. जो मैंने पहला सैम्पल मंगवाया था, I don't know how I ended up getting contacted with a seller from Meerut. जो कॉफी बीन सेल करता था. दिस वाज ड्यूरिंग कोविड. और जो मेरे पास कॉफी आई मेरठ से कॉफी आई मेरे पास.
अच्छा.
लाइक इट वाज वेरी इनिशियल फेज. सो जो मेरठ से कॉफी आई दैट वाज लाइक नाउ इफ आई रिकॉल दैट वुड बी एटलीस्ट 8-10 years old कॉफी.
ओके.
तो
8-10 साल पुरानी
कॉफी
आई आपके पास में. क्या किया आपने सर?
कुछ नहीं किया. रोस्ट किया था उसे भी.
क्या निकला उससे?
कुछ भी नहीं निकला. So
क्या टेस्ट है?
things like this helps a lot.
What was the quantity you procured? क्या लिया था?
Like it was a sample bag, 250 grams.
अच्छा, मतलब
So मतलब लिया कुछ नहीं था, sample था, पर वो 8-10 साल पुराना होगा because all the greens were pale yellowish. मतलब वो आधी रोस्ट हो गई थी पड़े पड़े.
अच्छा.
तो बहुत खराब कॉफी थी वो.
अच्छा.
तो उस तरीके से थोड़े
उस वक्त आपको पता भी नहीं होगा कि कहाँ से लेना है.
उस वक्त तो कोई आइडिया नहीं था. I didn't know back then कि green bean लगती कैसी है. So once you get a knowledge, good hold of.
But very strange, Tanmay, you started your journey. You wanted to become a entrepreneur in terms of like you wanted to run your cafe and how did you find out about, like, what do you think about it now looking back? कि क्या आपने कैफे खोला होता तो कैसा लगता है, या फिर अभी अभी सही लग रहा है कि यार, has it turned out to be good, or you wanted to still do a cafe because you are already doing a cafe but not a cafe to say, like, you're not doing that kind of cafe, you're not into cafe business, I would say. It is happening eventually.
Right.
जो हो रहा है सो हो रहा है. तो क्या लगता है आपको कि what would have been, what is the changing moment, what happened, and how it is for you?
I think it has turned out to be good for us because right now there are not a lot of roasters out in Delhi. Also, the market is growing, so being on the supplying side is better than being on the cafe side and being a competition to somebody else.
Okay.
So that way, I think it's a better. It has turned out to be
आपने
good for us.
आपने competition बोला. So what are your competitions? But I'm sure every business have their competition.
Right.
I think I know about 20 odd rosters and who are actively working in the Delhi NCR scene, and again, north of India, so to say, and south of India, or India for the matter, who are very effective, very assertive, like you, and very they've got name in the market like you do. So what kind of challenges which you face from there,
I
or
think
is there a harmony in?
there's a harmony. Everybody talks to everyone.
Okay.
Like if you're out of some coffee, we generally connect with the other roaster, get that coffee from them.
अच्छा.
The packaging material. So
ऐसा
सारा
मतलब
भाईचारा
मार्काट नहीं है.
मार्काट नहीं है. I think our biggest सारे roasters का I think biggest challenge is Lavazza right now. क्योंकि अभी भी if you see Delhi market, I think 40, 50, 60% of the market is still Lavazza coffee.
अच्छा.
So roasters बढ़ रहे हैं and उस हिसाब से roasters के लिए market भी बन रही है. So there's a lot of potential in the market. तभी आपस में हम लड़े वो वाला time नहीं आया.
Okay, I've got two questions for you.
Yeah.
One is that what makes your coffee great?
Okay.
One. So you answer for your first question, then I'll ask you the other one.
So basically, I do a very average job on roasting coffees.
Now
but
you're
I
being
try
modest.
to make it. But I try to control and provide consistency on what I do. So if my cup is changing every time, हो सकता है एक बार बहुत अच्छा taste कर रहा हो, but अगली बार उतना ना कर रहा हो. So that could be a bigger issue than providing the same consistent coffee back to back. So consistency is basically the key.
Okay.
क्योंकि if you are a cafe owner, you are getting some customer, that customer is basically coming for that particular taste. अगर वो उसका हर बार experience change होता रहेगा, so you can't be present at that particular cafe for a very long time as a roaster.
As a roaster.
So you have to provide consistency to your consumers. So that is the key part.
So to say, like, who are doing justice to the industry, कि यार काम कर रहे हैं, बढ़िया मजा आ रहा है इनको देख के. Who are the top 3 roasters for you? As in, like, personally मैं पूछ रहा हूँ. Personally, could be anything. You can name anybody. That's perfectly fine.
So in the past, like 6 months or a year, I have stopped trying multiple roasters coffee. So it's mostly Brooklyn coffee, which I try.
Wonderful.
So first is Brooklyn.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Second would be there's a new roaster, not a new roaster, a very old roaster. Guys from Korea. The brand is called Command Coffee Roasters.
Okay.
So they are doing great job. And then there is third would be
Okay, let's say about let's
like if I talk about micro lots and like batches, experimental batches, I think QBF is doing a great job.
Okay. Quick Brown Fox.
Quick Brown Fox, yeah.
Okay, and in fact, Quick Brown Fox से याद आया, they have got a beautiful facility here in Delhi. QBF, which they have. I mean, they have a cafe also. No, that's really
Pizzeria and coffee.
Pizzeria and coffee. It's great. I mean, it's a place to go.
Yeah, definitely.
And they serve good coffee. I mean, great coffee, in fact, and great food as well. I've been there. I do not talk to the gentleman, but I mean, of course, but I just go there as a customer. So I've been there. Next, which one?
Elbow is doing great.
Manvi. Okay.
And they have good hold.
I mean, their lighter roaster is amazing. I think yeah, they are doing a great job. I think there is one more from south of India, Maverick and Farmer.
Yeah.
I mean,
I tried their coffee in Abhi. I was in Goa. So they have a store over there.
Okay.
Great coffee.
Great coffee. Good to have great coffee around, यार. मतलब आप कहीं पे भी travel कर रहे हो, you cannot. I mean, once they are there, I mean, once people are there serving good coffee, I think it gives that kind of comfort and
And if you're
confidence.
if you're talking about the entire India, every state has a great roaster.
Alright?
Like Jaipur has Half Light,
हाँ यार वो तो खैर amazing
then
करते हैं.
Fairs,
Fires in the First Crack
the
Coffee
First
Roasters.
Crack Coffee
Yes, yes,
Roaster,
yes. In Jodhpur.
right?
Yes, they do wonderful coffee. They
Then
are
Dehradun has Metok,
Matok. Okay.
Tavasa,
Tawasa, yes. Wonderful, wonderful. That's great.
Chandigarh has Bloom.
हाँ वो तो कह रहे यार 2000
सब
serious
सब अच्छे
serious
लगे।
coffee roasters हैं.
Right.
And I know them very well. I mean,
अब
great
जब
guys.
आपने पर्सपेक्टिव बढ़ाया ना दिल्ली के बाद तो और नाम याद आ गए।
नहीं नहीं यार देखो जो अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं यार उनका तो कहना ही क्या है. I mean, and I really admire people who wants to get into it also. There is a guy, a gentleman I met in back in Dehradun. He is also very keen to get into roasting, and the kind of research he's been doing and kind of hard work he's bringing it to the table. Being a full-time, real estate person, he's a realtor basically, and
I think he has done course with me.
yes. Mayank, I think.
हाँ.
Mayank, yes. I met him a couple of times. Great guy, man. And what kind of enthusiasm which he has got for coffee, it's great. Once you sit with him, you can talk a lot about coffee. And it is very, it is very, soothing to see somebody so encouraged and, getting into coffee. रोस्टिंग में तो हमने बात कर ली कि किस तरीके से करना है आदमी को, कहाँ से आना है, किधर क्या करना है, क्या कोर्सेज अवेलेबल है. वी हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट दैट आल्सो, बट व्हाट यू शुड हैव as a mindset for a roaster, that is also been discussed. Now, what do you think about the equipment side of it?
I think to become a good roaster, you need to have a good roasting machine.
Absolutely.
That gives you like consistency throughout.
True.
So there are a lot of different options available right now. जब हम कर रहे थे तब कुछ नहीं था. तब भी थे मतलब पर इतने सारे options नहीं थे. So I would always suggest don't go for a bigger machine. एकदम starting में ही, like let's say you have a 12 kg roaster and you're doing 200-300 kgs a month, which is basically underutilizing the investment that you have done.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of people who are doing that right now. So ऐसा भी नहीं करना चाहिए कि आपके पास 1-1 किलो की दो मशीन है, you are doing 700-800 kgs on that, because फिर आपकी personal life नहीं रहती. So you should see and plan accordingly, like make a forecast of how many kgs you'll be able to sell and go in that particular way. Like what we did was like Alio Bullet was basically the roaster that we bought was basically was like basically trying the market. We bought that to see are we accepted in the market. Acceptance कितना हमारा. So that's how we started. And धीरे धीरे बढ़ता रहा, so that's the reason we bought a bigger machine.
So what do you recommend for a 5 kg roaster to somebody who's
I would recommend get a 1 kg one first.
अच्छा.
Get a proper hands-on experience, because roasting सीखना भी is a long journey.
Okay.
Like even if you do SA courses, everything, it'll take some time for you to understand
because your
what's
hands-on
happening.
experience तो यार
Right.
hands-on experience ही रहेगा. The more you do it, more you even become a barista, becoming a chef, becoming any you want to become good at anything, you would have to spend time definitely.
Like
Any
if you're
brands
in-
which you like to recommend with this?
Like in India, getting for the 1 kg machine,
For, let's say for 1 kg and for 5 kg and above.
so for 1 kg, the thing that I'm using, I would recommend that only, Alio Bullet. For a 5 kg, Prabhat is a pretty good option.
But again, expensive.
But yeah, then again, it's expensive. So we have
और क्या
got
options
a
हैं?
Mel City.
Okay.
It's called North Coffee Roaster, not Mel City. We have gotten that roaster. Then there are some Indian brands also who are doing.
क्या Indian brands हैं?
I don't recall the name, but there's एक Marshall Fowler करके company है who are doing
Okay.
roasters. The only reason we didn't bought that roaster was कि वो शोर बहुत मचा रहा था.
Okay.
And being in a industrial area, तो इतना afford नहीं कर सकते थे हम. So we got a different machine. So Indian roaster भी ले सकते हैं. Then there are Prabhat, there's Marshall Fowler. Then there are brands like IMF, which Plutokai is using.
Okay.
There's Loring, there's Giesen. A lot of different options available in the market.
कैसा है Giesen कैसा है?
Giesen is a great roaster. Like if you're planning to do light roasted, medium roasted coffees, it has amazing performance.
एक और टेक्निकल पार्ट है जो व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट हाउ डू यू प्लान टू डू exhaust systems for your roaster?
Getting a stainless steel ducting setup for a big production roaster makes more sense than like flexible pipes and all, because that's a one-time cost and you can always clean that up. Also,
Okay.
roasters work on like very high heat settings. Like the end temperature could be around like 250, 260 degrees also.
Okay.
So you have to have a proper system of exhaust.
Okay. One more thing about machinery. What do you think about what is a good grinder and a good coffee machine should have? What are the characteristics? If you are, let me just put it across like this. If you are doing a commodity cafe wherein like you're serving large number of people, and what kind of equipments do you suggest in terms of grinder in the coffee machine? And if you're doing a specialty coffee or boutique thing, so just segregate and throw some light on it.
Equipments mostly depend on the budget of the consumer.
Okay.
I've seen high-end specialty cafes using a very average coffee machine, pulling out decent shot with like a good staff and training, and places who have like shit expensive equipment, 20-25 lakh rupees of machines, not producing good cup of coffee
Would you like to
because of
name
the
some?
training and everything.
Would you like to name some? Name?
So that is the thing. Also, I would always suggest get a better grinder than investing more on a fancy machine.
I always say the same.
Like even if you
Why?
have a okayish machine with a great grinder, your end cup would be way better than a fancy machine and a average grinder. So also basically at cafe I use Eureka grinder. I have pulled great shots using a Eureka grinder and a DeLonghi home espresso machine,
Okay.
which tasted like way better than any of the shot that I have taken out on my own Eagle One machine.
Okay.
So having a good grinder makes
It's
a lot of
very
impact.
important.
Yep.
And what do you recommend for somebody who's starting off a specialty cafe? What kind of machines, what brands of machine they can consider? What is a spectrum of brands?
So spectrum of brands starts from, let's say, La Caramelli
La Caramelli
for a specialty cafe also.
really?
Yeah.
I find it a very basic machine.
But
For somebody who's
a lot
starting
of
off,
our
it's good.
customers are using that machine.
I know, but
The cup quality is like
cup
decent
quality is
enough.
decent.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the spectrum goes up to like La Marzocco, Victoria Eagle. All these machines are in the line. Produces amazing coffee, but not many people are trained to use that machine. So they are not able to like extract full potential of that particular machine,
Okay.
which is another issue in this
The
industry right
Marzocos
now.
and all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen people using all the pressure profiling, temperature profiling machines, not using any of it.
Okay.
Using the machine just to extract basic
extract
shots.
basic shots. Okay.
So basically, they have put in a expensive, fancy machine in their cafe just for the looks of it.
So what is the role of pressure profiling and temperature settings and all? If you can expand a little bit on that.
So temperature affects the coffee in multiple ways. Like if, let's say I'm using a dark roasted coffee, I'm brewing it at a higher temperature, that will eventually end up turning to be a lot more bitter. And if on the same dark roast I'm using a moderate temperature, let's say 80, 85, 88 degrees, it'll give me much more sweeter cup, a much more balanced cup of coffee. So that affects a lot. Then the pressure profiling also affects the coffee cup in like multiple ways. Extracting coffee at a higher pressure, which is set on all the standard espresso machine, which is 9 bar, will produce somewhat similar cups. And having a accessibility to change pressure mid shot, or you can change the pressure initially, will eventually end up in a different cup. So a lot of our customer also complained a lot that we visited your cafe, or coffee was tasting much different than what we are having it right now.
That's a major issue. That's a common issue basically.
Yeah, that's basically because of the machine type that they are using and that what we are using.
Okay.
Also with that, I think there should be someone in the industry focusing more on espresso accessories than machines. everyone is right now into the machine segment, but no one is focusing a lot on the accessories side. I've seen significant improvement on a machine that is very decently priced. A Nova Simonelli machine with a IMS basket will produce better shots than an Eagle one with like stock basket.
Okay.
So these are some things that I have learned in my journey. If people can implement that, like invest slightly more on the accessories part, it'll definitely impact the cup a lot more.
Okay.
Also, the tamping side of the
Business is
market,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
People are using basic tampers,
Tampers. Yes.
multiple
Push
staff
tampers
is
are
using.
there.
Push
There are puck
tampers should be
presses.
a norm with all the specialty cafes, at least. Puck press is
For
some
anybody, I
for
think for
anybody, yeah.
commodity also, I think they should invest into equipments like small equipments to a major extent, and so
I've
that.
seen high volume cafes using single pitcher, using it back
Acha.
again and again, not cleaning it properly. That will not give you that consistent, silky quality of milk every time you
Which you
froth.
require. No.
So these are some basic things that if people follow it properly, keep the machine clean, keep the accessories, keep proper accessories, not just the basic accessories, that can impact the cup a lot.
Okay. अच्छा तन्मय, बाकी सारी बातें तो हो गई यार हमारी। हमने सारी बातें कर ली कि कैसे करना है, क्या कोर्सेस हैं, क्यों करना है, कैसे हुआ ये सब चीज़ें, ऑल द रोस्टिंग पॉइंट्स वी हैव टच्ड। नाउ व्हाट इज़ द कॉस्ट involved in getting into roasting? It is the most important and valid question right now, because people don't have any idea कि कितना invest करना है, क्या उनका budget होना चाहिए, how they can start. If you don't know the basics to start with, what is the budget and everything else. So would you like to guide?
So to start up a coffee roastery, it's not just the machine investment that you are putting in or the space investment. There's a lot more that goes behind it. Like you have to order bulk packaging to get a good rate out of it. Then you need to have a good amount of inventory. Let's say you plan to do, let's say, a ton of coffee a month. So you should keep at least 6 months stock in hand to lock the pricing and everything. So 6 ton of coffee is required. Assuming current scenario, let's say a coffee costs $1,000. So you require 60 lakh in funds that are blocked in your green beans,
Oh man.
other than the roasting investment.
Okay.
So it's a high investment business, but like if somebody plans to do it,
What
you
about
should calculate all these costs.
What about the machinery part?
Any good 5 kg machine will cost you at least 20-25 lakh, and it goes up to like 70-80 lakhs also. So that depends on the budget. Then you need like green beans, then you need packaging, then you need marketing assistance, the branding part, setting up the entire setup costs a lot. Like if you're making a new space for a roastery, there would be rentals involved. There would be fixers, there would be office spaces. All these things, plus the beans required like temperature sensitive, moisture controlled room. So you have to think in that direction also and put all those equipments. Then if you're doing business on a serious note, you need all sort of testing equipment, Actron meter, moisture meter, your TDS meters, coffee refractometers. All these things become very necessary. Other than roaster, you also require coffee machines, manual brewing equipment to try out everything. So it's a big project.
So let's
basically.
say it's over a crore.
Like if you're planning to do something on a medium size, it will cost you over a crore, at least.
Okay. And somebody who's just like yourself, you started with the small batch, with a single roaster. Somebody who just want to begin, what is the benchmark?
If you're just beginning with like very basic machines, very small roaster, and you have a plan of selling like 100-200 kgs a month, which is a good number initially. So you should look at a budget of around 30 to 40 lakhs. That'll do everything.
So Tanmay, I've got a rapid fire round for you.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Pakka?
Yeah.
Okay, light, medium, or dark roast? What's in your mug at 7 a.m.?
Medium.
Okay. What is the one coffee brewing rule? you think that is totally nonsense?
In terms of like, what are we brewing?
I mean, one coffee brewing rule, which you think it's nonsense, which is a myth.
I think the temperature rule. People say 93 degrees is the optimum temperature, which is not true.
Oh,
Depending on the roast level, that could change a lot.
okay. So temperature profiling,
Yeah.
natural process or wash process, which wins for flavor complexity?
Natural.
If you could source beans from one country for the rest of your life, which is it?
India. Because of the flag that is
Okay.
kept on the table.
But otherwise,
India, India.
India
India
only.
has
So you
like
love Indian
good
coffee?
range of coffee.
Okay. Cream and sugar in a high-end single origin, a tragedy or a personal choice?
Tragedy.
You're not a fan of cream and sugar.
No, with like a single origin coffee, a lot has been done behind it
Uh-huh.
at the farm level, at the roasting level.
Okay.
If you're putting cream and sugar to it, you're just ruining the cup.
Okay.
Get a commercial basic coffee.
Basic coffee,
If you
commodity
want to
one.
do that, yeah.
What's the strangest tasting note you have actually detected in a batch?
Pipe tobacco note or something of that sort.
Okay, okay. Paper filter, metal mesh, or cloth, which produces the perfect cup?
Paper filter.
Okay. What's the maximum age of a roasted bean before it stales to you?
45 days.
Okay. The hype region, is there a specific origin that is currently overrated?
Not really. Every origin has a different flavor profile,
Mm-hmm.
a different cup note.
Anything which is overrated, which is not that great? नहीं? Okay. Now you're being diplomatic, huh? किसी के बारे में बुरा नहीं बोलना.
सब बढ़िया काम कर रहे हैं.
नहीं नहीं बढ़िया तो कर रहे हैं बट कोई ओवररेटेड नहीं है जो इतना एक्सेप्शनल ना हो, which is doing good only, और जो लोगों ने बहुत ज़्यादा हाइप करा हो.
नहीं ऐसा नहीं है. जितने भी लोग hyped है, they are doing good job.
Okay, fair enough. Batch brew from a machine or a hand pour over V60, which is more consistent?
Batch brew from a machine.
Okay, so that could be interesting. I mean, for people to know that
Yeah.
it is a
If you're
machine.
looking
With,
for consistency, machine will be more consistent than any person working behind it.
okay, last one. What is the one piece of home brewing gear that every amateur should throw away?
French press.
Okay, you don't want people to use a French press.
Yeah. Like if he's a amateur
Home brewer.
home brewer, yeah. They should move from French press.
Well, that brings us to the end of our conversation with you at the Powerful PK Show. Thank you so much, Tanmay, for coming down and spreading such an enlightening, knowledgeable experience to our viewers and taking our time. We really thank you for doing this and really looking forward for your future, growth in coffee and people admiring your coffee and enjoying your coffee. Have a great one and thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Means a lot.
Thank you. Well, guys, do subscribe and like our channel. If you like what you see, you have to just subscribe